Oh my goodness, can you believe it? April's almost up and the NHL playoffs are heating up. Get ready for it. What's happened? Well, I had some predictions in the earlier video about what I thought was going to happen. Let's start in the West because they've already started round 2 as of today. This is Thursday now, the 27th. We have some big games tonight, but let's talk about what's happened. Well, I was totally wrong about this. I had Chicago, Nashville swept in 4. My goodness. Here I was right. St. Louis. Go Joel Farnsworth. He's like the equipment guy on the St. Louis Blues. I worked with him at the University of Vermont. He is the man. Worked and a friend. Good guy. Go St. Louis. They won, so now they're playing Nashville. However, they lost last night. Nashville is up 1-0 in the series so far. I had Calgary, but I had Calgary going real deep in my Western Conference. Calgary got swept by Anaheim. My goodness. And so now Edmonton, who did beat San Jose, had that one. Edmonton won last night. I fell asleep. I wasn't able to watch the game. But Edmonton, I believe, did win. So here we go. What's going to happen now? I don't know. We'll talk about it later. Let's talk about what's going on tonight, because big things are happening tonight. I believe this is happening tonight, and I believe this is happening tonight. And what's going to happen tonight? We're going to have an in-depth discussion about this because I am a Caps fan, and, well, gosh darn it, if Alex Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby don't meet up again here every year, it's like Christmas. It's like Easter. You know it's coming every year. Okay, are the Caps ever going to win a cup? Ever? They've never won. I guess here's what I think. This is the year that the Caps can do it because the Cubs won the World Series. Trump got elected president. All the obscure weird stuff is like the Earth's core going to flip magnetic field or something this year. Who knows? It's one of those odd still seasons. I still call this 2016. It was all 2016, but this is a carryover to 2017 that still got, 016 in the name. If we still do that apostrophe 016. So the Caps could win. Could do it. They could do. I don't think they can do it at 7. I think that but that would just be unbelievable. It makes the most sense for, Is ESPN covering this? All those people that got laid off at ESPN? Do any of these people have money in the NHL playoffs, or is it CBS or something else? Because if they could use it after laying off everybody, cable's not going to save them. But I think the Caps need to have this done in less than 7 to win because there's too much negative energy. At home, if they have to play Pittsburgh in a game 7, it's over. So let's do Pittsburgh insanely in 5. How do we do that? How do the Caps do that? They win every battle of the puck, and we're going to talk about that later. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk about the rest of this later. Who am I going to? I don't even know who I'm going to pick in the Ranger-Ottawa game. Probably the Rangers. It looks like King Henrik is the man. Might take him 6 or 7 now. I've been wrong on my game picks. So here's what I have for backup on all this and analysis. I've got this file that I use for fantasy sports, which I stink at, because fantasy sports is a lot of gambling. I mean, they found a way to legalize gambling, and it is gambling, and daily fantasy sports is definitely a lot of gambling. But in the process of losing money to DraftKings, I did build something fun that has beneficial uses other than gambling, which is matchups. So let's talk about the Caps and Washington. Sorry, let's talk about the Caps and Washington, and perhaps Pittsburgh. We might mention them too. You can look at the history. You could just look at the playoffs, like how are these teams doing in the playoffs, or just look at the last 15 days. I have a break in my salary structure here. But I'm going to start to analyze. These are DraftKings points per game, which, excluding blocked shots, which shows you these players and kind of how they scored, who's dangerous, and then their overall average, right? So these games are going to be, and what I'm doing here is I'm messing around in pivot tables. I don't want to do that. I'm going to try to show a comparison. Yeah, these are the teams they played. So Columbus really got pony raped against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is really strong. So look at the spread of their weapons. Here's what you're going to do if you're Washington and you're going to pull this craziness out, which is, where are you getting? We'll talk about how the Caps can win offensively, but you got to stop the other team first. This is the thing in the playoffs. Stop what the other team does, and then you will score. The other team is good. They have a lot of green here. These are a lot of points, right? Malkin is dangerous. I think you have to set something physical, but also be just a huge back-checking team where all you do is get in Crosby's head, which is not hard. You accidentally bump him from behind, and he will cry sometimes. But it's sad. I mean, he's small. Small guys have that problem in hockey where you can run into people's heads more because it's just, even if you don't lead with your head and are a smart player, just because of where your head is. Like Zdeno Chara doesn't have as many head injuries as I don't want to name names, but as any guy who's under 5'8". A lot of younger people, and I think Sidney Crosby's about 5'8" or 5'9" or something like that. Now maybe 5'10", but I think he's like 5'8" or 5'9". So I believe that you get in their head, but where are their points coming from? Who's solid? You can start comparing these things by position and matchup, but you really want to say defensively, who do we stop? And who do we not need to worry about? People with low points here are people that could be big defensive players. There are a lot of defensemen here. But like Connor Sheary, I guess you don't need to focus on Connor Sheary as much if you're stopping other people around him. Like these are the main guys you want to stop. And that's incredible to say. There's Hainsey's defenseman, Schultz. And this is just for the playoffs. If you look back even further and start to see numbers, you're like, wait a minute, Sheary actually does need to be watched, right? Jake was at the top in the last 15 games, right? Now we're up there. Just looking at the playoffs. Who's come to play in the playoffs, right? I mean, what does that represent? That represents a lot of power play there. That represents a lot of line 1 and line 2. Rust is interesting. Rust, it seems like, I guess people probably focus on the other 2 lines more if Rust isn't on one of them and is nasty. They have so many weapons, right? Well, what does that mean? What does that mean if they have so many weapons? And you have to be on your toes at all times, and you have to win every race to the puck, and you have to get physical, and you have to play incredible hockey to beat them, which is what you got to do. Okay, Caps, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to call it as I see it. I've got some experience playing hockey, and I've watched a lot of the Caps this year. And let's take a look at what's happened in the playoffs. Yes, this does not surprise me at all. Oshie is, I mean, he is Team USA. Oshie is your go-to guy. Now, if you get into a mode where you know you're playing a really excellent team like Pittsburgh, and you have to be aware of them, and you have to do something special to beat them, I don't have to worry about this guy's leadership and him being able to do it. Also, Williams I love as well. He just has chutzpah. I don't know. I can't explain it, but he gets points at the right time. Look at this. He leads off the series against Toronto with a huge game, and they get a win, right? Big things in the series. Okay, OV, look at that. Weird, not have a good game opening up, but then came to play and has been fairly consistent, but dropping a little bit. I can do things like measure ice time and stuff in here. Backstrom, yeah, Backstrom, it makes sense. He has big games. Mojo gets some weird goals sometimes. Kuzi can have big game potential. I wonder what the lines. What are you gonna do? So you guys, everyone's got to play. Everyone's got to play defensive. Tom Wilson has Spunk, Orlov, Orpik, Eller. I'm surprised at this for Niskanen. Because if you look back over time, names that pop up here. We also should do things like plus minus Burakovsky. 4-point game. What do you do with OV? OV is still a monster offensively, but now really needs to pick his spots because he's not going 100 miles an hour into the wall at people like he used to, because he's not 22 years old. He's a human being. And so, how do you play gracefully into your older age? He's not like Yager's age yet, but I mean, you don't expect. I always thought, well, how is OV going to play when he's in his late 30s? What kind of players are going to be? He's still going to have a monster shot, but he's not going to be going nuts. And so let's assume that a more mature OV with his leadership has to share leadership with other people like Oshie and Williams. Because Oshie, how awesome is that? Russia and the USA together can't exist in the nation's capital in hockey. Forget about politics, right? So I think that what OV does is, all right, so OV has to lead on what I said about we are playing a team that here's how you beat Pittsburgh. You're going to get opportunities to score because they are wild and crazy. They're wild and crazy guys, those Pittsburgh. They are nuts, and they are going to score goals, but they're also going to let some in because they're just wild too. They're good, but they're wild. You have to beat them to the puck. You have to play defensive games, and you have to play with your head up to hit people almost more than looking to pass the puck even. Like, you want to do smart things with the puck, but it's always, I am up against an opponent, and I'm challenging them at every turn. And the Cubs won the freaking World Series this year, so the Caps can win the Stanley Cup. And I like these guys. Yeah, OV's going to lead, but honestly, what if OV with a good solid check just, runs? I'm not going to say runs. What if OV just solidly hits Pittsburgh? Don't name names, just Pittsburgh in general, cleanly. And then he doesn't have to worry about making weird passes out of zone because he's just crushing people, right? Now, he's got to do that in a tamer way that doesn't kill him. But if that's really what he's thinking, again, I kind of like that as against this Pittsburgh team because you need to make a presence and get them off their game and take leadership. So let's do that. I guess we should look at the other game, right? Just because I want to check. Let's go back to 15 games. So Ottawa has a lot of weapons. They always have. They were a great fantasy team. They picked up Victor Stahlberg from Carolina, who had some potential. They saw him. I remember picking him off the fourth line in Carolina sometimes. If you look way back for Stahlberg. How far is that going to go back? All right, I've moved some things around because I was being long-winded and taking forever, but I moved some stuff around and I'm showing positions and like the Ranger-Ottawa game mixed together and who's scoring points. You see that Ottawa really is outscoring the Rangers so far. They did better against Boston than the Rangers did against Montreal. Your goaltending situation, Ottawa's Anderson, there's been weird streaks with the goalies. I think I'm doing this right, but it looks like a lot of goals all over the place. How did Marc-Andre Fleury win these games and get minus points? Amazing. Because Pittsburgh is so offensive. Boy. And then Henrik, Kenrick is King Henrik. Yeah, King Henrik. You got to watch out for him. So, will Ottawa's offense, if you look at the teams, will Ottawa's offense provide, these are goals. You look at Pittsburgh's goals per game and shots. Is this all right? Yeah, I mean, look, Ottawa's got some 40s and 30s for the shots. Well, I think that Rangers defense. I think that Ottawa is very dangerous offensively, and you have to worry about these guys. I think that it's really. I want to take Henrik and I want to take Ottawa's offense at the same time. I think Ottawa's really going to put up some goals at some point in this series. Whether or not they're going to win the series or not, I don't know. But you can see some serious offense here in this green area, and all these guys, including Stone. This is just the playoffs here. They have spotty bad games of 1.5, but there's a lot of goals coming out of them. And they have some dangerous. Burrows is good too. They have a lot of weapons. And the Rangers, it's more spotty. And I do like these guys. I like Nash. I like Zibanejad. Zuccarello performs, big guy. Jesper Fast, the announcers must love their name. Whatever, there's a lot going on here. I think that if you go back to the grid, this could really go either way. And will the Caps do what they have got to do? I sure hope so. Let's pretend it's 2016. And I don't know what's going to happen over here. So Ken Stuck's out for now.